Hi, I'm NASA astronaut Michael Barrett, and you're watching Mission X, Ask an Astronaut. And this week's topic is Off to Work I Go, the kind of work we do in space. Now, our friends Cecilia and Fabrizio from Italy asked really good questions. What kind of experiments do we do in space? And I'll center this on what we do on the International Space Station. The space station is a huge laboratory, and we really made this station to do science, to produce world-class science, and because of that, we are trained to do lots of experiments before we go up. So our work day is pretty much oriented towards being in a laboratory, towards doing those science experiments and coming out with as many answers as we can to some of the more important questions that we can only answer in space. Now, from my standpoint, I'm a medical doctor, and space medicine is very important to me. And that means I want to know what the human body does in space. And we need to know that because we want to go further than low Earth orbit. We want to go to Mars. We want to go back to the moon. We want to go to asteroids. So we look at how the body functions in space, what your bones do, what your muscles do, your heart, your vessels, all these change, your sense of balance, even your vision. Everything changes just being in weightlessness. And the human almost becomes an extraterrestrial because so many systems change. But it's a way that your body adapts to weightlessness, to being in space. And it's very, very interesting, and it's something that we very much need to know before we want to go much further than Earth. Now, having said that, we also do a lot of experiments in physical sciences, looking at combustion, looking at mechanics, looking at fluid flow, things, again, that can only be done in space, and we're making a lot of great discoveries that way. So another great question we got from Anna and Fabio in Italy are what kind of jobs do we do in space? Now, of course, we do lots of experiments. We built the space station to do science, and so mostly it's working in a laboratory. But the space station is also a big spaceship, and like any ship, whether it's an old sailing ship or a current Navy ship or the space station, it takes a lot to keep it afloat. In our case, to keep it up in space. So we spend a lot of time working our systems, our food and our water supplies, the life support that circulates our air. We spend a lot of time keeping our station ship-shape, basically. And that's a really important thing for us to do. We also are always ready to leave the station if an emergency happens, and we get ready for spacewalks. The spacewalks we do to go out and fix things, or to build things, or to improve things, sometimes to inspect things that you could only see from the outside. We also have a big robotic arm on the space station that helps us to move large things from one part of the station to the other, and that's controlled by the astronauts inside. So when you look at all the things it takes just to keep a spaceship going, we spend a lot of our time doing that. And I would also say that that's very pleasurable. It's very satisfying. It's very fun just to keep your ship shape in space. You know, another great thing we get to do up there is sort of like play traffic cop, because the space station is like a hub, and we have all sorts of vehicles coming to the space station, bringing new crew members and bringing cargo up to us, and then of course they're leaving the station. So it's very exciting to have new people coming, especially to get new supplies, but that means that there's a ship coming, launching from the ground, coming to rendezvous with the station and dock with the station, and that's always a very exciting thing and something that keeps the crews very busy. One of the more exciting things we get to do is to actually reach out and grab some of these cargo ships with the robotic arm. So we have what we call the Dragon X, and we have the Japanese HTV. Both of them are cargo ships that will fly up to the station and just hover there right in front of the station. We reach out with the robotic arm that we use from the inside. We have controls on the inside and cameras, and we will reach out and grab that thing and then bring it into dock. It's one of the more exciting and possibly nerve-wracking things we do, but it's sure great to see another spaceship coming to bring you stuff. One of our friends in France asked us, what is our normal work week like? What's our normal work regimen for a week? And that's a great question, because a lot of what we do up there is based on a timeline that tells us exactly what to do and when to do it. Because a lot of people on the ground are also involved in what we do. We don't do too many things totally alone up there. So it's important that we stay synchronized, essentially in step with a timeline, so the people on the ground know what's happening. So our standard work days are Monday through Friday, and we work pretty hard during those days doing as much meaningful work as we can for experiments and keeping the station fit. And then of course we have to take 2 to 2.5 hours just to exercise. Then of course we have to prepare our meals. We get a little bit of free time before going to bed, and then we sleep, and we really look forward to our sleep time. If we have any extra time, we try to spend it looking out the window, because the Earth is just so beautiful. It's an opportunity we have that we don't get much time to take advantage of, but we do when we can. Now Saturday is cleaning day. Saturday is when we take out our vacuum cleaners and our washcloths and we scrub and vacuum the station, and we make it as clean as possible. Remember that there's no gravity there, so things don't just fall on the ground, so we don't really have layers of dust on a flat surface, but we do have them wherever there's fans that suck in air and filter it. So we have to clean all those screens, and sometimes food gets away from us and sticks on the wall, so we have to clean the walls and make sure everything is spick and span, and that keeps us healthier as well. Saturday and Sunday are also the days that we get to do voluntary science, where we choose the things that are most interesting to us, and these are projects that also have a lot of people on the ground very interested in how we do with them. So they're right along with us even on Saturday and Sunday. Sunday afternoon, typically you would get a few free hours to yourself, and we sometimes do our own personal experiments. Sometimes we look out the window, we talk to our families. Occasionally you'll break and watch a movie or something like that. But I will say there's not a lot of free time, but we really enjoy all of our work up there. Hello, I'm NASA astronaut Michael Barrett, and if you'd like to ask a question of an astronaut, go to the Mission X website and look for the Ask the Astronaut feature, and we look forward to your questions.